You're not going to see DOS screens or workbenches or mod recommendations, no spreadsheets or command lines. You don't even need to know what an XML or DLL file does. This is just what I wished I had known before building my MAME system. So truth is, you already have access to all you need to play classic arcade games with basic mechanics. You've got a computer and an internet connection, and you can find MAME already set up and accessible to you. I played at RetroUprising.com, who is not paying any promotional fees. It's just a great site with a great community, and it's free. I added a basic Xbox controller because I prefer that to keyboard and mouse, but it wasn't necessary. So you can do that like I was doing and have plenty to play. But I had specific games I couldn't play the way I wanted to, the way I remembered playing them. So I decided to look into a better controller, and I had no idea how you would incorporate one into your system, especially an existing one. But I didn't want to go nuts with a completely tricked out rig that costs thousands of dollars and then feel compelled to replace everything on it.
This was beautiful new right out of the box. Now all I need are a few slight modifications and this is gonna be one hot mother for only a little more than twice the original price. That's some sweet shit.
How does it all work? But without learning much more about how it all works, I was able to do this eventually once I realized that all this really is a monitor, a keyboard, and two mice. Mouses? Yes, all a controller is another keyboard. Every button or stick direction is assigned to a specific key. That's it. And yes, I didn't know that. Maybe it's because I was never a PC gamer, so I never associated controlling a game with a keyboard. The only computer gaming I ever did was way back in the day on an Apple II. Yes, you heard that right. The original Apple II, before any of the letters. Remember Hammurabi and the Stellar Trek? Providing wheat for your people and shooting photon hashtags at capital Ks? Put that in your memory pipe and smoke it. So yes, if your controller has enough sticks and buttons on it, you could use it to write the great American novel. I wish you well in your perilous journey. The controller wasn't a big deal for me because I was craving that true arcade experience with actual panel-mounted joysticks and buttons. I do love all that shit, by the way. But because not having one was preventing me from playing some of my favorite games the way I remembered playing them. You can play Missile Command and Centipede with a mouse. You can play Battlezone and Robotron with dual thumbsticks. You can play Tempest and Arkanoid with left and right buttons and the spacebar. You can also voluntarily drink dish soap. So it was seeing all of those games sitting there on Retro Uprising and not being able to play them the way I did back in the original machines that made me go to the next level of aesthetic in a controller. And as I've already alluded to, I didn't find anything that was going to work for me, so I had my controller custom built. And then I had to learn to completely rewire it. That would be another video. I also decided to build a separate system entirely. I'm a video producer, so I didn't want to start messing around with my own work system. I already had an old computer of my wife's, one of those HP sandwich-sized deals, so I cleared out a couple of shelves in the built-in unit in my office and dug an old backup monitor out of my basement. I wanted something as turnkey as possible, so I purchased a MAME hard drive. They're not cheap, but all I had to do was plug it in, follow a few settings adjustments, and I was looking at a fully working Hyperspin screen within 10 minutes. Hyperspin is just a game browsing interface. You'll also come across Launchbox and other game library managers, or you can open MAME directly and search there. Same games. Buying a pre-set up system saved me a lot of time and aggravation. And I'm not suggesting that there's no need to learn about MAME. I'm just saying you don't have to get into the minutia of it if you don't want to. A decent arcade setup is going to cost some money, but all you really need is a basic computer. I was running my first MAME setup on one of those little refurbished mini desktops with no problem. A lot of these games, especially the early ones, are not very demanding on graphics cards. I use my old editing system now, which has a GTX card and lots of memory, and keep it in another closet on the other side of the wall, because this one's a little bit bigger than a sandwich. So no high-end system needed, and you can just run the software off the hard drive they give you. Add the monitor and controller, and you have a MAME rig. Now there are a lot of nice-looking controllers out there, including special controller builds for special genres, or even specific games. What I wanted was a controller with a configuration that would cover every game I knew I wanted to play. So I would be needing a flight stick, trackball, and spinner as parts of it. And I not only wanted a flight stick, trackball, and a spinner laid out to pair with other controls for different games, I didn't want to accommodate 2 or more players, which are generally the kind of controllers you find flight sticks, trackballs, and spinners on. So that's why I ended up designing my own and having it built for me. And like I said, that's another whole story, and one that you do not have to endure to get started playing classic arcade games. I know this is pretty hello McFly for a lot of MAME people, but it's basic information that I couldn't find. And I hope it helps you, and I also hope you have a fantastic day. Keep it classic.